The Azadpur market in New Delhi is one of Asia's largest fruit and vegetable outlets. Customers include local retailers, distributors, restaurant owners, and private customers. The goods sold here have often been on the road for days, traveling right across India. But now it's the monsoon season, so the produce is saturated when it arrives. Rajpal Kumar has been working here since he was a child and tells us little has changed in that time. Everything that is not sold the same day just rots, he says.
It's been raining, so the vegetables have gone bad. I'll have to throw them away. These vegetables arrived yesterday.
Nearly half of all the foodstuffs produced in India end up being scrapped before they even reach the consumer. Here at the market, temperatures of over 30 degrees Celsius pose another problem for the traders.
There are some cold storage rooms at this market, but they cost 500 rupees a day. Where can we get that kind of money? That's just for one day.
We get permission to film inside one of the cold storerooms. No one wants to talk about why so much food is wasted here at the market. We discover that the fruits stored here are all imported from New Zealand, Italy or the United States. Biraj Patnaik has worked for years as an advisor to India's Supreme Court on issues of food safety. He says one of the biggest problems is that the government relies only on private investors to build new cold storage facilities. In the end, he says, everyone loses out.
Insofar as the consumers are concerned, the two big issues due to lack of good storage are A, the cost of food going up, even for them, because significant amounts of food is wasted and inflation leads to food inflation. And second, the deterioration in the quality of food.
One reason for the lack of cold storage facilities is that there are no major supermarket chains that could finance that kind of infrastructure. India is still dominated largely by small local shops. Nearly every quarter has its own stores, with every retailer being responsible for cooling their own goods. Few cities have any major supermarkets. That's partly because the government promotes and supports local retail. Much of the food wastage is actually a direct result of state intervention. This is a state-owned warehouse for cereal crops right on the edge of the Indian capital. The wheat and millets stored here are supposed to be reserved for India's poor. Over 30% of the population live under the poverty line. But exposed to the weather, the stored produce often goes bad before it reaches those in need. Or the food is already saturated when it arrives. Day laborers plow through the grain to dry it out.
We don't have modernization in our storage. When you stack, as we do, one sack of grain over the other, the sack of grain which has come first is at the bottom of the heap. But you will use the sack which has come last, which is at top of the heap first. So it's the first in, last out principle.
It would cost billions to set up a functioning cold chain that would preserve foodstuffs across India. The new government says it recognizes the problem. But after more than a year in office, there's still no sign of major change.